Hi, this is Chris at Clever Unicorn Games and the Unicorn Collective, back with another episode of Designer Playtesting. Today we are testing Sheepdogs by Ian Brocklebank, one of our own. With me today is...
Hi, I'm David from David Digby Board Games.
This is Ian Brocklebank from the Games People.
Tell us about your game, Ian.
Yeah, okay, so this is Sheepdogs. It's a 2 to 4 player game. We're just testing the 2-player variant because I've made a few changes to the layout and also the way sheep are going to scatter. The object of the game is to try and get all your sheep penned faster than your opponent. So we've got 2 herds of sheep. We've got black sheep and white sheep. What we're trying to do is the red player is trying to pen the white sheep, and the blue player is trying to pen the blue sheep as quickly as possible. So you've got a shepherd. He's stood in the pen. You've got 2 dogs, and the dogs will do the bulk of the work. They're the ones driving the sheep. The shepherds will sort of direct sheep when they come in their direction and try and get them to the last leg into the pens. If you can come over to this little demo area set up, I'll explain how the sheepdogs actually work. So I'm going to move both dogs over here. So if a dog enters a hex where there are sheep, then the dog can decide which direction those sheep are going to go. So if there's 2 white sheep and a black sheep here, he's going to drive them into this hex where the 2 black ones are. Now, before he did that, this dog thinks, well, I'm going to try and stop these black sheep from going off to the side. I want them to go straight on. So that other blue dog is going to position itself there to block. And we're going to move 1, 2, 3 sheep in a straight line because that's what the dog will do. He can choose any direction. We've now got 5 sheep in that hex. And as soon as there's more than 3, we're actually going to get a cascade effect. And so we're going to roll a dice for each sheep over and above 3. The controller dog is able to choose what color dice or what color sheep to move on. So as the black dogs are trying to gather the black sheep, they're going to chase the white sheeps on through. And we're going to roll 2 white dice. Both of them are going straight. So had we rolled a turn there, then you can see that one would have been a left turn, and the sheep would have actually tried to go where the dog is, but the dog would have been blocking that. So having rolled 2, the white sheep would end up here, and that would be the end of the turn. Obviously, you sometimes get cascade effects where a series of sheep will create more and more hexes with 3 sheep in. And so you'll see that quite quickly you can start moving groups of sheep around the field, and you start gathering groups of black sheep and white sheep together. The other thing is the shepherd, he can move 1 hex each turn. And any sheep that leave a hex where the shepherd is standing, the shepherd can decide which sheep leaves and which direction they take. So he can actually separate black and white sheep if they all end up together now. So I think we're all ready to play. Chris, if you want to go first, you're gathering the white sheep into the red pen. David, you're gathering the black sheep into the blue pen. So David's got the blue and the green dog. Chris has got the red and the yellow dog.
So just explain to me how a turn runs. So what is the order of a turn from me?
Yeah. So on your turn, you won't need the crook as we're playing 2-player. But on your turn, you're first going to move one of the dogs to an empty hex. And that hex can be any empty hex. But what you're thinking about is where you're going to be using the other dog to push sheep towards. And will you be able to, can you direct the sheep that are going to start moving when you actually drive the sheep? So that's the support dog. And you move that one first. Then you can move your shepherd, and you can move him 1 hex, or you can rotate the pen, or you can move back into the pen and turn it, and then you're going to move the driving dog. For the purposes of the 2-player game, you can use either dog in either role, so you don't have to alternate between red and yellow, or in David's case, blue and green.
When I enter with sheep, do they just automatically go out the direction where I've come in from, or do I choose where they go?
No, you can decide the direction that you want them to go.
So I can just do that?
Yep, that's fine.
And do I roll for that guy now?
No, because that first hex movement is basically free. That first hex is in the direction you want it to be.
And once he's in there, he's not coming out again?
Yeah. No, once they're in the pen, they're penned.
And that will be my turn then.
Yep, that's your turn.
Okay, so I'm not moving my blue support dog. I'm moving my green primary dog, and I'm pushing both of these sheep into there. Does the cascade happen straight away?
So now you're going to roll either one white dice or one black dice.
I should have therefore put the farmer in there first.
Yep.
And then
Yes, you should. But at that point, one of the sheep will leave. Obviously, you're going to choose a black one, and you can pen it.
So just because of the cat, okay.
Yeah. So because the shepherd's there, you don't need to roll a dice. Otherwise, you'd be rolling a dice for the sheep that moves on.
I want to move the white sheep.
You can move the white one if you want. That's fine. In that case, you can send it any direction.
Can we make these?
You don't need the dice because you've got the shepherd.
Yeah, you just get to choose where it goes.
Nice and clearly then. Okay, so I can choose the direction that the white sheep goes in, and the white sheep's going to go over there.
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah, I am going to move my. I'm going to leave my support one where it is, leave my shepherd where it is, and I'm going to move my main dog in here.
Okay.
Which I get to. Do I get to move both those? No. Do I get to move any of those sheep? Yeah, they're
okay, you're going to drive them out. You would normally choose the direction you're going to drive them.
But the shepherd means I can pick.
But the shepherd can actually send them any direction.
But can I choose two different directions?
Yes, because the shepherd's there.
So I can do that.
Yep.
And that's me.
Okay. Green one's going to stay where it is. Blue one's going to come in there. No, that'll be it. And drive all three black into there.
Okay, so I'm going to move my support dog to there. Shepherd in there. Dog in there.
So, yeah. So you can just move them on. That's right.
Like so.
Yeah.
See, it's because of the way I've changed the field size and shape, is we've very quickly now created two herds with a gap across the middle, which I think will probably make for slightly more interesting gameplay. What tended to be the case is people would just run around the edge and everything would end up in the middle, but you would end up with a white herd on one end and a black herd on the other. So it's interesting to see how
David's gone the same way as I have, where he's tried to get the easiest ones first, and then work it out from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can a support dog enter a space with another dog?
Yes, and they can even stop in the same one.
All right. Okay. That frees it up slightly. I'm just struggling to see the use of the support dog when so few of the hexes are empty at the moment.
Yeah, I mean it will become more useful. It is sort of generally the case. You could just use it to try and block where you think you're.
There's no farmer in that space, Chris. You've got to roll the die.
No, you move them and then roll the die.
That's the change we've made. And it may be too much.
Yeah, I mean, we don't seem to be rolling the dice a lot. We seem to be using the farmers and the initial move enough to be able to control the movement almost all of the time, removing the sheep running away element of the die roll.
I think that might just be because we're on early game at the moment. I think once we start splitting up a bit, it might change. But yeah, it's worth. We'll see at the end of the game.
Obviously it's partly because I'm really surprised how it's playing out because I've never seen people play it this way. And what we're not seeing is the cascades happening.
I forgot which one's I'm the black dogs, aren't I?
Yeah. No, you're the brown dogs,
Brown
red,
dogs,
yellow.
Red and yellow bases. That's the easiest way to tell it.
I don't know.
What normally happens is people start trying to get round behind a group of their colour and then drive them through multiple hexes so that you're gathering more and more sheep as you do that.
Yeah, well, that's roughly what I'm going to attempt to do down here. No, Chris has been very helpful. So that cascades now then.
Which direction did it come in from? It came from
Came
this way.
That way.
Goes like that.
Okay, so it's got to go that way, yeah, because there's a dog in this one.
Is that it? Are you done, Chris?
Yes, my go's done. Just had a child asking me to take a lid off something.
Right, so now I get a cascade in here, yeah?
Yeah, so you're going to roll 3 dice of pretty much any colour.
Okay, I'm going to... Two black and a brown.
I was going to say, put your glasses on, Dave, if you need them that big, but you've already got your glasses on.
I've got my glasses on, but they're blooming tiny. I can't see the icons on them and see the map at the same time. Right, so everything is
the blue dog's there.
Yes.
But the fact that they've all tried to go this way towards the red dog, but you've got multiple ones, means they're actually going to cut back and go to this hex.
Okay.
Which is perfect for you.
Well, perfect might be a slight exaggeration, but it's not undesirable.
Dog was actually, they were driven out of the hex number 1, weren't they?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
So the dog's there.
Yeah.
It's me now then.
Yep.
Yeah. How did your shepherd get over there?
It's me.
Okay. Is there a dog can move to any empty space? Is that correct? There's no limit on the
without going through one with sheep in. Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
They can move any distance.
I'm going to do what Chris has done, and I'm going to put my dog in the way of his pen.
Right.
Because that's what Chris has done to me here.
Yeah.
This sheep Cold War just got hot.
As I say, that did happen, and so that's why we made the pen a double 2 sides of the hex.
So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to send the black one that way.
Could you send the white ones onto the brown sheep? That'd be nice.
No, I'm going to send one over there. And then I get a cascade here. And I'm going to move the white ones. As long as all the dice are a different size, it's fine.
I was just thinking that's offending my sensibilities. Do larger dice roll better for you? Okay, so one's straight and one would be moving towards the green dog.
So they're both
straight.
straight.
It can't move to the green dog. The green dog can choose to send it right or left.
Oh, right, okay. Well, they're both going over there.
No, because it's a turn. So the straight would be here.
Yeah.
As I say, that one's going towards the green dog, which is... Oh, that is yours. No, sorry, that is yours, isn't it?
It goes over there.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry, I was mixing up which dog was which.
Okay, so...
What's the shepherd doing in the other guy's pen?
Can't. Oh yeah. Yes, you choose the first direction. That's the thing. That's the thing that's feeling a bit unintuitive at the moment. Is you always get to choose the first direction.
I think it'd be more strategic if they had to go in the opposite direction to what the dog enters from. It'd mean you have to move your dog around more.
Right. Well, my farmer's in there, and then I move my dog into here, and because that's the space I move the dog into, I can choose the direction of the sheep. So
no, you can't. No, you can't. You're rolling the dice at that. Oh, yes. No, that's right. Yes, you're right.
It's my initial movement.
Yes.
Now I've caused a cascade, but the farmer is in there, so the farmer controls the movement. Meaning that the black.
Well, no, it's only over any over 3 that cast.
Yeah, sorry, yes, it's the over, isn't it? So I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll just do the black one. Yep.
Point now in a playtest.
They cascade, don't they?
No,
no,
3.
They don't. Yeah.
There's only 3. At this point now, if it was a playtest, in reality, I'd be tempted to wipe it and reset and change the rules back to how we used to do it.
And then the player on my side of the table, who was me, would be very upset because he's really getting into this. Sure, go, David.
Yeah, your stuff's in the way.
I'm digging it though. I really am digging it as a game.
It's very unusual to see a game played that, a game you've designed played in a very different way. And I made a change which I thought wouldn't affect things hugely. And I'm not sure whether it's because of the sort of players you are, or whether it's that change or a combination of the two. But it's now because it's more, I mean, it's not chess, but it's more chess-like about moving your shepherd around and taking those little sort of movements to try and move one sheep where you specifically want it, rather than flows of sheep running through the herd, which is how it used to work out.
It's my go?
Yeah.
There's 2 left turns, which means they'll cut back. So they'll join that. That's the one.
Stop worrying my bloody sheep.
There is a silence, or probably not ideal.
It's intense.
It's so weird to see no dice rolling.
No, it feels really weird. It feels like the game is set in a way that almost prevents us from rolling the dice all the time.
Yeah, I think the shepherds are too powerful.
Yeah.
Because remember, if you think about it, in a sheepdog trial, the shepherd literally is just standing at the side and whistling and shouting.
Yeah, the combination of the shepherds.
That's how that's how most people have always used them. And I'm not sure whether, as I say, I'd be interested in playing this now, doing what I used to do against this sort of approach, and seeing how the two compared. Because, yeah, this is just quite strange.
Hi, it's Chris and Ian back. We've taken on board what came in from the first playtest, and we've decided to go back with some changes that Ian's come up with to see how it plays again. So let's see what happens.
Okay. So, shall I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to move this dog.
Oh, what have we changed? What have we changed before?
Okay, so this time we're using a different set of dice. Not that we roll the dice very much. So 1 and 6 on the dice will result in a turn to the right or left. 2 to 5 is basically going straight, and we're actually going to roll the dice when the dog first enter the hex. So the dog still can choose the direction of that first movement, but there is a little bit of randomness in whether the sheep do what you're telling them to do. I'm going to go this way anyway. Let's go here. So I'm going to drive these two and hopefully drive them into that hex there. So we'll roll those two. So both going straight. So 1, 2, and then there's no more dice rolls after that. So we've got 4 in there. One of them's going to move out the other side. I'm going to choose to move the white one, and that's turn.
Okay. Shepherd still does the same thing.
Shepherd does the same thing.
So I still don't need the dice for these, correct?
You would do. You're driving them, so either way, it's going to be a dice.
Oh, okay.
So you've got 1 turning left, so they've missed the pen. 1 going straight on.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's better. I like that.
Okay, so I still can't use a support dog, but I don't like the way your dog is, so I'm going to use this dog here to drive these two. So I'm rolling a black and a white. The white's going straight on. The black's made a turn, so he's not going the way I wanted him to go. But I've got 3 there. I'm going to at least get my rare breed sheep a step closer. I should have moved the shepherd closer, but never mind. I'll remember to do that
when they
next time.
cascade from that, they always go out of the opposite
They
side.
always go straight and continue in a straight line. So actually, it's not about that previous game where there was that strategic movement of the shepherd. It's about trying to get your sheep flowing and moving in lines as quickly as possible. And the shepherd just stands at the end of the line, trying to do the sort of directing traffic, as it were. Yeah, you can still do. Yep, that still works. Okay. I'm gonna clear this, I think. So I'm gonna move those. So 2 blacks and a white.
Which way they go?
Straight on towards there. Okay, so 2 blacks are going straight. The white one turned right slightly, so the white one's there. And then I've
nice.
now got.
Yeah.
Okay, I blooming forgot this. I should have moved him anyway, but as it's a straight line, it's not a problem. I should have moved the shepherd. The use of the shepherd is that when that line isn't directly pointed at your pen, the shepherd can sort of make that final turn or make a turn a little bit further out from the pen. Okay. So I think it's time to use the. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to send this dog all the way around here and gather these ones in this corner. So I'm going to. I can't get the other support dog to him, so I'm going to send them into the. I think actually I'm going to send them up the edge. So roll those 2 blacks, both going straight, so they're all going in. One of them's going to go out the other side. I'll keep the 3 together and do that. I need to get this other dog into it. Are you done?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to move the shepherd now because I keep forgetting to do it. And let's move these 3. I'm going to drive them this way. So let's put this one here. So 2 whites and a black. All straight. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now.
You know as well that your dice don't need to be different colours. Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
They do
because multiple different. But there's another idea though. You could change it so it's different. You know, the brown sheep do something different on their dice.
Yeah, they could have the more random ones, which make them a bit trickier. I did think of that because I've got the random dice and the less random dice, but that would make them a little harder to control. So you've got a dog there, so you can decide whether those white sheep are going right or left. I think it makes sense to give the dog the ability to control that rather than just me deciding. I think if the dog's there, it makes sense that the dog can do that.
Yep. Clever dogs.
Okay, it's your turn.
Good question. That's me.
So I'm going to move my shepherd here, then move this one here, and try and drive a brown and a black. Roll it. Okay, brown one goes straight, black one turns left.
That's not
Okay,
left,
so
is
the
it?
shepherd.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes, it is. So the shepherd can choose which one leaves. He's going to send it that way. At least now I've virtually connected my dogs together.
I go.
Yeah. He's chasing the. You're chasing them into my pen,
Yep.
into my shepherd.
Oh, he can choose where they go then, can't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't matter because they still can't come back, so it gives you something to think about.
Yeah. Well, there's a dog blocking as well. So the right one missed, and the black
Perfect.
and brown have gone straight. Okay. So
You've only
the brown.
2 places you can send them to.
And is it the brown one and is it one brown, one black?
It's up to you, isn't it? You. Oh no.
Yes, no, it is up to me.
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
can
no,
move
it's
where
up to me. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. That's a pity because what I was just about to do was use this empty space to get both my dogs together to start shifting this.
Yeah, I figured that.
These 3, but I'm going to do that and move those 3. Where's the other black dice gone there?
Yeah, this is already. I mean, I enjoyed the first game, but this is already more interesting because of the randomness.
Okay, so 2 straight and 1 to the right. So we're going to go 1, 2 to the straight and 1 off to the right. And then one of those goes through to there. One of those goes through, meets a dog. So the dog can send it right or left. I'm going to keep it away from you.
That's
and
my
put it
dog.
over there.
It's my dog.
Oh, it's your dog.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'll send it to the middle.
Of course you would. In that case, hang on, think about it. I'm not going to give you the dog. I'm going to give you a black sheep. You can do what you like with the black one. I'm keeping that with my shepherd.
Oh, can it only go left or right? Can it go anywhere when a dog chooses?
Actually, the shepherd's there. Thinking about it. So rather than sending it to the dog, I can actually choose to put.
Yep. Put it anywhere.
So I'll actually put the 2 black ones there. Keep the brown one with the shepherd.
Okay.
It's my game. I can change the rules if I want to. I've got the shepherd, so I'll decide where they go.
Yeah, that's a bad idea because you just put them straight into your thing.
Yeah, and you can see how the shepherds don't have as much, although the rules for them haven't changed. They're not doing as much.
No, you're
as
right.
they were in the previous version.
Oh no, it's left. Luckily, I rolled too many whites, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, so one of them's leaving. It'd be going into this one because it's going straight, isn't it? There you go. Right. Probably makes sense to do that. Actually, can I get to there? Yes, I can get to there. All right, he's going to run all the way around and into here. And 2 blacks and a white. Actually,
Which way are they going?
Towards the shepherd.
No.
All going straight. And then 3 of them leave.
Oh no, they have to go straight on, don't they?
No, the shepherd's there.
Ah, right.
So you do tend to keep your shepherd quite close to the pen when they can do it, like but at the end of a cascade. I don't know what it is about the sheep that sometimes they sort of, when they first come out, they like to lie on their back. I think it's to do with the way the object was loaded.
It's me.
You had the shepherd there, so you didn't actually need to roll.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay, so I need to get some more, but it seems like getting those two. If I go that way. I want to get those. So if I go round, shall we do that? Let's move. No, actually, let's do that. So I'm gonna move this one in, put those two in the pen, and move that one out there. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Can shepherd just move anywhere?
One space at a time, but anyway, yeah. You can't co-locate with another shepherd because
they don't like each other.
Well, then you have to work out a rule for whose shepherd takes precedent. All straight. Okay. Ah, so you've blocked me off. Okay, I can bide my time. I can wait. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll show you that double move thing. So I'm going to get this guy, because what you often end up with is you end up with this.
You can't use my dog.
Oh, you're right. So where was your dog? Is it there and there? Yours is that's yours, isn't it? That's where it was. Yeah. Okay, so I'll do. So if there's a space in a line, you basically can get a free move, which just moves things a little bit quicker. And so I think rather than trying to take one dog around here, I'm better doing this and then move the both dogs up and then moving into here. Oh, actually, I'll roll for that one now. And it was straight, so that's going to there.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, we will move that there and move this to here. One of each. All straight. 1, 2, 3. And then you can't move into the dog. So I'm actually going to move that one there and that one there. And if I'd moved the shepherd, I'd have been able to guard them, but I didn't move the shepherd.
That's me.
I can't actually get. Oh no. Yes, I can. I can get my dogs together. I can run all the way around here through my shepherd, through your dog, and put the 2 dogs there if I wanted to. But I don't need to do that. Let's bring those 3. Now let's do that. I'm going to do that. Into the shepherd, move it 1. Let's do that. There we go. So this feels more like I want the game to feel. And actually, this has been quite to and fro, which more, in terms of still feeling like you're driving sheep around, but actually trying to play around each other. Because there was a tendency, I think possibly when the field was 2 more hexes longer, you ended up with all the black ones at one end and all the white ones at the other end, and you would just pretty much the last 3 or 4 turns became less relevant because you were just trying to mop up, as it were, and you could either go and hinder or you could try and mop up, but one way or the other, you were just sort of playing separate games at either end. So I like this arrangement. So originally we had it was 6 wide and more symmetrical instead of just 5 lanes.
Yeah, I don't think I can beat you now, though.
Probably not. I think I've got, because I've got the brown one, which puts me 4 points extra. So even if you got all of yours home, happy to call it there. I mean,
no, I've got another thing I want to try.
Okay.
Oh no, I'd need to roll for them, wouldn't I?
Yeah. So 2 whites and a black to roll. I'm not sure that moving those black ones really helps me. So I'm probably the most sensible thing I can do is just move that brown one in.
Fine then. I mean, yes, you have well and truly won it. I don't think there's any way of me getting them back before you can get another couple in there. I don't know if I would have it be so many that you need to get back. I don't know if that would end up. How many more would you need to have got to finish the game? Was it when there's only 3 left on the?
I think I've lost count exactly how many I had. I think I had
15 out, wasn't it?
15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had there was actually 17 hexes with 2 on each, but there were 2 rare breeds, so 16 hexes. So it was 16 of each color, and I said 13, so we could finish when there were 3 left, because you do tend to get the situation where you've got odd ones around. You're right, maybe. It just feels like you're leaving too. If you're leaving more than 3, it feels like what sort of a half-assed job is the shepherd actually doing? On other games I've played with 15 and 3, and trying to get 12 out of 15 seemed reasonable. I get the point that trying to get all 16 in.
Well, let's say right now, if you said that the brown ones are worth 2 points each, but they're also worth 2 sheep towards that, you would have ended the game there, and that would be good because there's nowhere further I can go. So if you say that if you get the brown sheep and it's worth 2 towards you ending the game, then there you go. That's that sorted.
Yeah.
Because if somebody gets both brown sheep in anyway, they're probably in a good position to win usually.
Yes. But then does that become too much about just getting two brown sheep? I don't know. And I like the idea of actually making the brown dice more random. I think
That works
that's a good
as well,
idea.
yeah, in conjunction with that. If you make it so that you use the more random dice just for the brown guys, that means that it's more of a risk, unless you're using your shepherd, it's more of a risk for you going and try and getting both the browns.
Yeah.
And if you're not trying to get them, then you've not got them, and you won't run away with a lead,
Yes. Yeah, you do have to sort of try and get one, don't you? If you can. And I quite enjoyed the little tussle that was happening where we were both trying to get the second one. That actually felt quite fun, and kept the engagement, because as I say, what's happened quite often is you end up with just playing your own game at the other end of the field, and so moving them a little bit closer together, but creating those asymmetry. I'm pointing at the screen here, but moving them to creating that asymmetry in the field, which sort of creates more. It's no longer completely symmetrical, and you've got a choice. Right or left is different, as opposed to both the same. I quite like the way that's worked out.
Well, I'm going to say it's very good. It is a very good game. It's very visually appealing. The rules, even in the first game, I wasn't having a bad time. It's not a game that I would have got annoyed with beforehand. But yeah, it was too chessy. It was too, you knew exactly what you could do. There was no real randomness in the first game. And this time, it wasn't too random. There was randomness in there, and sometimes that one sheep would run off, but that was so thematic. It's like a case where your dog runs at these sheep. Generally, if the dogs are well trained, they'll keep them in line, but there's always going to be that one sheep that does not what you want and runs off, and that's what you see when you watch sheepdog trials. There's that one. That's why not everybody gets 100 points every time. If it's 100 points, I'm not sure how sheepdog trials work. But yeah, it's very rare that somebody will, do everything perfect without at least having to get the dog to run off and find one that's legged it off in a different direction.
Yeah, I did actually play test with a lad who was brought up on a sheep farm. He liked the way it felt. He was, he related to it, which made me feel somewhat validated. Because obviously it's not exactly a simulation, but you do want there to be a feel of how it does feel of trying to create a plan, trying to direct your dogs, but never quite knowing whether it's going to work.
Which that second version there with the more randomness, that was better. I think if you build off that, I still think. Right, so here's my issue with it was definitely the shepherds. The way that you had that shepherd by your thing to direct them in made that even like 4 turns ago, I knew that with your shepherd there and the sheep that were around it, there was no way of me really stopping you from just funneling all of those sheep into your pen. So I think the shepherds still need cutting back a little bit and being nerfed, so to speak.
Easy to get stuff in. But so what could the shepherd do that would make them less effective but still useful?
I mean, I think a shepherd, maybe you can use it to give dogs extra moves or extra actions. Just something that relates to the dogs and not the sheep. So
in reroll.
Even a reroll, if the shepherd's there when the dog goes into to move them, the shepherd doesn't, it gives a reroll on the dice, and that way it's not, you can go wherever you want. There's a chance that if you get a roll that you don't want, you can reroll it and get what you do want.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, because they are really too. Even in the first game, it's the same in this game. It's just too powerful being able to tell a sheep exactly where to go with a shepherd, which in real life, probably wouldn't be. He wouldn't be that powerful. I mean, you could even have it so that they mean that if you've got the shepherd where your sheep run to, they don't cascade, so it allows you to keep a huge amount of sheep on that space. But obviously, when the dog comes to scare them away again, it's not wherever you want; it's still random, so they may all scatter in different directions. But then that also gives people the ability to pick up 6 or 7 dice and roll them, which is always nice to grab a big handful of dice. I'm not sure about that. If you roll 2 turns, it makes them double back, because that it's confusing. For me, anyway, I had confusion with it. I couldn't understand why. But if you were to have turn left, turn right, just be that the one sheep goes turn left to right, and then have an extra 6th symbol on there, that if you roll a 6, you can move a sheep wherever you want. That's good, because that means you're aiming for that. Like rolling a 6 in other games, you're trying to get that one.
But why? But why would you ever not move it straight?
Because if it was somebody else's sheep and you wanted to get out of the way.
Right.
Or there might be somewhere else in there that you might want to do it as well. There might be another reason for you to. Or even just have it so that if they roll that one side, it's bad. So if they roll like a 1, it's that one that says that sheep goes back in the opposite direction. So the opposite leaves us by the opposite side of whichever side you wanted it to go by.
What? So it ends up behind the dog?
Yeah, it ends up just running back past the dog. Doubling back, literally right back past the dog. Just breaks away and runs around before the dog can get it, and it ends up behind you, maybe where you don't.
Yeah, I'd have to try that, because obviously the problem with that is how often it happens. Because if it's happening 1 in 6 on 3 dice, you're pretty much always going to get it. Whereas when it only happens when you double, snake eyes or boxcars or whatever, then it doesn't happen that often.
No, but it
But
makes
every
the
now and
support
again,
dog a lot more useful because you put that support dog behind you, then you know it doesn't happen.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be interesting. It'd be worth trying. I mean, I think I'm happy overall with, having tried something that someone suggested, going back to what I knew worked. I think I'm happy now that the game flows. It plays in about the right amount of time. I think there's some degree of satisfaction in moving those columns of sheep. I think it's now things like,
I would
how do
say
we
add more
vary the
sheep because
setup?
there's not enough cascading happen. I want to see more cascading happen.
Right. I mean, obviously, one way to change that is to create. I mean, one of the things, because we had a couple of empty spaces, but I think that helped get into it quicker. I think you can change the number that you have in any particular hex. I mean, for instance, if you have a couple of hexes where they won't hold 3 sheep and they will hold 2, that will make more cascades happen. So if we have 2 2s and a 4 spread about, or 1 blocked somewhere, then that just create a slight asymmetry, but will, the more 2s you have, the more cascading is going to happen.
But anyway, yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. That was good. And I do want to play again. Yeah, I enjoyed both of those games. Yeah, so yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you for bringing Sheepdogs for us to play today.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And we will see the rest of you on the next episode.